Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Tuesday, April 20th, 2021. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. You'll notice here that for 3 days running now, we have lower highs here and lower lows. So 2 days running from the pivot top a couple of days back, but 3 days in a row here of a minor downtrend. At the moment, price is currently building a range. Really looks like an inverted head and shoulder pattern just below the previous session's low price of 41.75s. If there is a pushback above 41.75, that could open up a failed new low and a reversal back higher that could ultimately return prices back toward the overnight high and perhaps through it. Overall, this market remains very, very bullish, and pullbacks have been defended so far, and the pullbacks mostly have been non-existent other than morning or pre-market pullbacks. This has been a broader pullback here over multiple days, but for the most part, if a rejection at the previous low occurs, we could see strength back toward the previous session's close and high. Otherwise, a failure here to get back above 41.75 may ultimately lead to a bit more weakness ahead. Keep in mind this market has been very, very quiet, averaging 31 points per day, and we're already at 36.25 points. So we're trading at 118% of ADR. If there is a failure to get back above that 40, as I mentioned, perhaps we could drop into 4100 on the high end on the downside. Alright, let's take a look now at the NQ. The NQ here also pulling back a little bit here today, not that far off. It did briefly drop below the previous session's low in the 5 o'clock hour this morning and bounce back up. It's still holding within this narrow range that continues to develop. You see down here on a 10-day basis, we are compressed right here, and that's including some of these days back here. If you're just strictly kind of looking at the last 6 or 7 days, it's even more compressed, but nonetheless that compression is occurring right here at the key range high 13,900, and so far this market has built a little range right at that zone that again could lead to a continuation to the upside at some point, or it could lead to a failure back toward 13.3. This is the first test in the PIMA trigger zone, so if we were to drop down and reject here, we may see another round of strength that could take us to new highs. So this is going to be important to see. Can it continue to hold above the previous session's low? Do we need to test a little bit lower? The first two tests at the 8-period PIMA so far have been defended by bulls. Alright, let's take a look now at crude oil. You'll see here with crude oil, this one has pushed to new highs today, continues to trend higher after breaking through the top of this compression here and also through the top of this larger trading range. This breakout day was tremendous, a transitional day higher, but right now we're testing the point where price broke down last time. So we had a big breakdown, we held, we've now come back to that area a couple of times to test it, and both times kind of pulling back off those highs. So right now 64, not really seeing much acceptance above that level just yet. If we can see some sort of higher low develop, say into 62s or perhaps just below 62s into that trigger zone, that could open up a continuation towards 66 up ahead. Alright, let's take a look lastly at gold futures. You'll see with gold here, this one has continued to show a bullish bias here so far to begin the quarter and so far this month. Big breakout right here to begin the quarter above the previous month's midpoint. That was followed a higher low that was off that prior pivot low. Pretty significant rejection. Excuse me. Now we have a big continuation up and a pullback right here. This is the pullback we were calling for. If we can get a pullback even into this blue dotted line, that could provide a catapulting type of effect higher into 1765 and perhaps beyond. If price can get through 1765, it opens up 1850 to 1875. So we've seen that progression play out very nicely. Right now we're seeing a little bit of a pullback and a test of the 65s. Again, we could drop perhaps as deep as 1750 and still see a continuation higher right now within this uptrend. So right now, currently on the pullback phase here of this move, but if we get another rejection similar to what we've seen here previously, then we may be able to see a continuation toward 1825 ahead. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.